前はもう死んでいる。
Hey guys, just here to let you know that Kane and Lynch 2 is a hidden gem. Probably the best game you'll ever play this year. That's the video. Okay, bye. When Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days came out in 2010, critical and overall reception of the game was very negative, and after beating this game twice, I can safely say, yeah, it does suck. It sucks ass. But I still have a lot of love for the game, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down all of my thoughts in a nice, neat little package for you in this video, so I hope you sit back and enjoy it.
Lynch! Stop fucking killing you!
There's a good chance that you may have seen some of the video and trailers for this game, but never actually experienced it yourself. It's a third-person shooter, strictly a shooter. There's not really any combat involved in this game, that leads you level by level in a linear story-driven game.
Am I glad you made it? Ready to make some money?
The game offered a standard single-player mode, a co-op mode that you could play with a friend, and a multitude of arcade multiplayer modes that are no longer accessible because nobody plays the damn game as far as I know. The multiplayer modes could best be described as what some guy did in the Steam reviews as saying it's payday on Adderall. They usually involved cops and robbers or loot gathering heist type of game modes. Did I just hear something? That was probably nothing. I remember doing this a little bit on the PS3, but damn, this is so long ago, I couldn't even tell you, dude. There's a little arcade mode that you can play in single player mode, but it just doesn't really work that well. It was obviously made for multiplayer. What I can tell you about the multiplayer is I remember it wasn't very balanced, so if you play through the single player, you kind of get a feel for what the multiplayer would be like.
Ah, shit. Could I die? Fucking China.
The campaign.
Get back! The hell is this? Well, I'll be damned! Hey! Put down your gun! You hear me? Son of a bitch!
The campaign of Kane and Lynch 2 follows Kane and Lynch through a drug deal gone bad type of situation. Kane kind of being the voice of reason type of character, and Lynch being an absolute psychopath that is off his medication.
Shit, Lynch! What was that? What the fuck was that? Believe me.
While Wei Shin from Sleeping Dogs is over there taking care of some stuff in Hong Kong, you are going to be taking place in Shanghai. If you haven't figured this part out by now, the story isn't really anything to write home about. It's your standard, let's go rough this guy up, and then oh no, everything goes to shit, so now we're on the run from a million people that want to kill us type of scenario. But easily the biggest problem with the story of Kane and Lynch 2 is the ending. The timestamp should be up on the screen right now in case you want to skip the spoiler, but maybe I'm saving yourself a few hours of gameplay on this storyline by just going ahead and telling you that you jump on a plane and that's it. No hesitation, camera fucking falls over, here's the credits. No fade in from the music, nope, we're gonna play it right now so we can get this shit over with. But on the positive side of things, easily the most striking thing about this entire game is its visual art style. You're gonna notice the whole thing looks like it was recorded on a VHS camera, and the game kind of plays like a guy is actually following you around recording a snuff film. The game by default gives you this shaky camera effect to it to make it look like somebody's chasing you with a camera, but it looks god-awful when you're playing it. I am not convinced that a single person on this earth has played this game with the shaky camera, because within seconds you're going to be feeling sick from it. And this could have been such a cool visual effect to add to the gameplay, just like it does it in the cutscenes, if they had just toned it down just a little bit. I don't mind it in the cutscenes so much, but in the gameplay, god, you gotta turn it off. Which is a shame because it kind of hides a little bit more of the wacky running animations and shit, but it's what you gotta do. When you first boot up Kane and Lynch 2, you're treated to a wonderful random title screen background that is nice and peaceful, nothing much going on, gives you some nice calm music in the background before blowing your eardrums out to this cutscene of people being murdered. And this introduction sequence that takes place before the game actually starts does a perfect job of setting the mood. Mood in the game, and this is followed throughout the entire game. The entire thing is very dark. You're not going to find really any humor in this game whatsoever. So if you're looking for a comic relief, you're not getting it here. The voice acting's pretty good, and there's a lot of bro motivation going on between Kane and Lynch that kind of keeps them motivated throughout the story. This is about the best point I can give as far as the writing goes, because like I said, the story's very basic. The characters kind of fall flat after that. They didn't really expand too much on Lynch being this complete psychopath, other than little things you might hear him saying in the background while he's talking to himself or something.
I'm fucking naked! Fucking people screaming, shooting.
I feel like they could have done a lot more with these elements. Plus, the only time you get to play as Kane is on that ending level. But they did a good job of capturing the atmosphere of Shanghai, the city streets, marketplaces, neon signs. It's all beautiful. It's all done up well in the VHS style, and when you shoot people in the face, it gives them a nice pixelation effect. I think that was really neat. So how about that gameplay? Sadly, not much to write home about. In fact, it's easily the worst part of the game. Like I said, the setting and the tone is consistent, but almost every single cutscene in the game starts off with you taking just a 3-second breather to have a conversation before all hell breaks loose and you have to shoot everything in sight. Oh look, the deal just went bad and there's bad guys. Oh look, more bad guys. Oh look, wow, surprise, plot twist. I'm knocked out and there's more bad guys. And when you get into these gunfights, you're not really having a great time. The AI is dumb as fuck. And the game would be pretty easy if it wasn't for the artificial difficulty that's injected throughout the entire pacing of the game. This game's idea of difficulty is making the weapons inaccurate as shit no matter how you aim them, and then cramming as many enemies as possible into a room. The first time I beat this game, I did it on the expert mode, and I have no idea how I had the sanity to do this, because you're basically a one-shot kill, and things come at you from so many different blind spots, you don't have the reaction time or skill or resources to handle it accordingly. Basically, it just comes down to level memorization and how lucky you can get going out of a gunfight. You'll start to remember exactly what enemies are going to be in what side of what room, but for whatever reason, in some random instances, you'll just randomly get one-shotted, even on the easy mode. The difficulty is extremely inconsistent. There were so many times I'm sitting here on easy mode thinking that I'm playing on expert, and then there's other times on the easy mode I can literally run through almost the majority of a level, and the only levels that I can't manage to just run through without shooting anything are the ones where they just cram 100 people into one room. And once you get through that shooting gallery of duck, shoot, duck, shoot, duck, shoot, you get to go into another room that looks exactly the same with the same 100 enemies over again. And you get to duck, shoot, duck, shoot, duck, shoot to get to the next 3-second cutscene where all hell's gonna break loose and you're just gonna keep shooting more shit. It's very repetitive. You know, Michael down there in QA has been running through these levels without even trying. What are we gonna do to make this more difficult? What if we crammed the level after that with 300 enemies to make him take probably about 30 minutes on what would otherwise be a 30-second level? That's a great idea. The game overall is pretty unpolished, and on PC it can be kind of unoptimized at times. I'm sitting here on a $1,500 computer. I've tried installing this to my solid state and my hard drive, and I've gotten random stutters and crashes constantly. I basically went through this game a third time to record this gameplay because I lost over 3 hours of gameplay from the game crashing and me losing my recording. As you're running through a level, certain events and visual and audio things will trigger throughout the game depending on where you're at in the level, and playing on easy mode breaks this on more than one occasion. Like here, where the game clearly didn't intend for me to get to the escape van this fast, yet I made a beeline straight to the damn thing and it broke the ending scene, so I had to restart that section all over again. Or you'll just hear different things in the audio like, oh, I hope they didn't find us, or we really need to pull that guy out of the car, after you've already gotten past that part in the level. All of these things considered, on top of the terrible ass ending that you get with really no reward or feeling of fulfillment after even beating the game on the hardest difficulty, I really have no idea how I put myself through that. Really makes me believe that the game just came out unfinished, because the foundation for a really good game is here. The characters are interesting, the environment and the landscape is beautiful. It's one of those different type of experiences where you don't really get a game like this all too often. What other game are you playing as a naked slashed up white guy running through the streets of Shanghai gunning down waves of police officers? And I think that's why I love the game so much, is just the appeal and the potential of it, really. I love the setting, I love the characters, I love the idea of playing as as these two anti-heroes, but overall the package just wasn't really stellar at the time. If I bought this game for full price, I would have been pissed. But seeing as you can pick this game up for pennies nowadays, I would say it's worth giving a shot, to be honest with you. It's not very often I can say I actually like a game that I know is utter dog shit, but this is definitely one of those instances. This video is brought to you by Exit over on the Patreon. If you want to directly help fund some of these videos and put some new neat stuff into it, check that out in the description, as well as my other social media and playlist and videos and links, etc, etc. And tell me what some games that suck that you actually really like are down in the comments. Hopefully I'll catch you on the next one, but for now, it's been T, and I'm out.